Raw, real, absolute wisdom. There may be times in your life when you despair your existence. The cloud of gloominess engulfs you, and you are blinded in such a way that misery becomes your only friend. No matter how much you give it your best shot, you simply fall, and life is a huge burden that you no longer want to carry on. Raw is about assisting, inspiring those moments where you need to pass through your failures and simply focus on what you define as your success. In this podcast show, we look at people who have passed through their failures, focus on their success so they can inspire you to do the same. Welcome to Raw. My name is Rohit Basi. It is an absolute pleasure to have a young gun on this show. She is totally amazing. Her vision to help people reach their highest potential and make themselves happy. She believes when you are happy, you are in a state of completion and fulfillment. Let's meet the young, beautiful, awesome Nikhila Ramesh on this show. Today we have with us Nikhila. I've known her for, I think it's now 4 years.
Yeah, approximately.
And she is much younger to me, so I'm an old fogey in front of her. But in the years I've known her, she is surprisingly mature, and it has been able to help people across all different ranges. And she is going to start off by telling her name, for the record, her full name, because it's just not Nikhila. There is more to that.
Yes.
And then we will, for the listeners and the viewers, continue with our interview in Raw.
Okay, so my name, for the record, is Nikhila Ramesh. And we've known each other for quite a while, but age is just a number, Rohit. I have an old soul, I think so.
How old a soul are you?
27.
Okay.
Yes.
27.
27.
I thought you were 16.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Now, Nikhila, before we go into what you actually do currently, and you do that with your father, let's look at where you've come from, what you've done, what your childhood has been like, what did you study? Tell us about that.
Okay, so my parents, both doctors, dad orthopedic, mom pediatrician, 3 children, so my brother, sister, and then me being the youngest. Of course, being the youngest wasn't easy, although they say the oldest one has the problems, but I think everybody has different issues when it comes to age. Went to school, and my brother and sister being the older ones and really geeky, so I was always said that, oh, you should do as well as them, and comparison, contrast, the usual Indian system, but I always used to do what I felt like. I was carefree. Of course, I matured up because everybody was much older to me. My brother's 12 years older, sister 6 years older, so I was always surrounded by older people, so I understood bigger problems in a very different way. I was born in Dubai, brought up here, did my schooling over here, and I went to United States for my undergrad. Did a 5-year program there in international business and marketing. Did a minor in dance, and also I did a bachelor's in Kathak in Dubai.
Oh wow!
Over here. So dance is my passion as well, but it was always key for me to help people. That has just been my nature, helping people in whatever way and not expecting anything in return. That's just been my nature since childhood. And now I've worked in US for 1.5 years as well, and I came back here to work with my dad, mainly because I saw him transitioning from being a doctor into something completely alternative to help people without medicines, to find themselves within, all the answers within. Because I saw the results from a younger age, and people always had this thing when I started teaching as well. What does she know? She's so young.
Yep.
When I was always compared to my dad, of course, he has a background of being a doctor, medical
Yes.
doctor, and then much older as well, and a lot of experiences compared to my age. But that's been my journey. Of course, we can go deeper into it, and it's been really wonderful.
Okay. So, how come you never became a doctor?
Let me just say 2 were more than enough in the household. 2 were more than enough.
Were you ever asked, beta, daughter, you need to become a doctor, or aim towards being a doctor? Were you ever influenced to go towards that direction?
See, there was a time when I wanted to be a doctor, but not because my parents said so. I think I learned from my parents that they were always open-minded, and the children should do what they want to do, what they felt like. So they always gave us that freedom, along with principles. So it was both. So open mind with principles. So they allowed us to choose. And truly, even my mom told me once later that she wouldn't have wanted her daughters to become doctors because the responsibilities become a lot for women, household responsibilities when you get married, all of that. But she's like, anyways, if you wanted to, then of course we wouldn't have denied it. So yeah, that was.
So you have a passion for dancing.
Yeah.
I've seen some of your videos. How come you're not doing that 100% all the time? You're doing what you're doing. What's the reason behind that?
Well, there's no reason why I'm doing dance as well. Dance is really a mood changer for me. So if I'm ever frustrated or sad or whatever it is, it always changes my mood. Definitely, I've performed even in 2015 and 2014 last, and I actually want to go into teaching dance.
Interesting.
Yeah, so rather than performing, and plus because I've started taking care of our company, which with me and dad, and traveling is a lot, so my focus has not been all that settled on dance only.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do both and merge everything together.
Okay. So before we get into the work side of things, I recall you did a flash mob.
Yes.
Okay. This was back in the US.
Yes.
Okay. How was that experience? What made you do that? How did that come along?
Okay. So this happened in 2012, and it was almost my senior year.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, she was a part of this Indian association at the college in the university, and she knew that I have a dance background and all of that, and she's like, can you please help choreograph and everything? So I said, okay, choreograph, no problem. So I was working at that time at JP Morgan, so I used to come back from work, then go and we used to all meet up, and I used to choreograph. They're like, can you please dance for the flash mob? And I was like, okay, fine. I can never say no to dance. Yeah, so I tried to take time out and do it. And then when we started doing rehearsals for the final rehearsals and everything, and then the main guy of the association said that you need to start the flash mob, because he was looking and seeing and of course judging who was doing how, and he's like, can you start it? And of course that was a little like, you get nervous in the beginning because you're going to do it on the street, and just randomly just start dancing with people walking around. So I was just like, okay, fine, no problem, I'll do it, take it as a challenge. So and it was fun. It was a very, very, very cold day.
I do remember the video.
It was in Feb, and because we had to be dancing, so we couldn't wear all our jackets loaded up, so it was really cold. And it was 6.5 minutes long, and because we started, we have to continue, and then people start joining in towards the end. But it was fun, like really, really, really fun. Really fun.
So, how come you never decided to continue to stay in the US? What made you come back to Dubai?
Well, of course, there were a few issues which I had in US when it came to my visa and whatever the processes were for the US, and I just didn't feel like staying in US, to be honest. I wanted to be back home. Dubai was home. My initial goal was to start probably looking for a job in Dubai, but then I'm like, and then in the meantime I was working part-time with dad. Okay, so, and I was looking out for other opportunities. But then as I was working with Dad, and I'm like, why not? Like, why not go into this field? Of course, everybody in the beginning stage after they graduate, they're really confused, what to do, what not to do. But I started learning more and more. And I had attended his courses even when I was a child, a teenager. So whenever he would do a workshop, I would always be there, like attending, like, how family would attend.
Yeah.
So I would be there. So I was like, maybe. And, of course, it was nerve-wracking in the beginning because, my dad was like, you have to start teaching, you have to take over, like, immediately, and I was just like, I've not learned everything, and at that time I was 21. So I was just like, okay, relax, I have to be comfortable, right,
Yes.
from within. So then I'm like, and then, sooner, like, it was fine. Dealt with problems over there as well. Working with Dad is not easy. And I'm being honest here, and Papa, if you're watching,
I'm sure he's going to watch this, and he's going to be on one of the podcasts as well.
Of course. He's going to
love to hear his story as well.
Yeah, so it wasn't easy, but it was a change which even he had to adapt to, and even I had to adapt to. And he has, and even I have. Like, we both have learned, like, I've realized some of the things which he used to say back then in these past 6 years in the beginning. I've realized the importance over time. And so has he. So even though we've had these rejections or whatever it is, even my friends used to say, if you fight so much or there's so much argument, you're not happy or whatever, so why are you doing this? But I knew the feeling with the people I used to get, and I used to just ignore everything else that was happening. And I felt like even though there are arguments or whatever, or rejections or comparisons, you have to learn to let go of it, but it teaches you a lot. And I feel like all my experiences were very important. I regretted the fact in the beginning that I had to come back from the US. I used to keep saying that, it's my mistake, I made a mistake, and all of that, but I don't regret it. You don't know, right, what's for the good. So this is what happened, and
Interesting. Now, what exactly do you do? Because your father, I call him Doc Uncle.
Yes.
He is a father figure to me, and he was hardcore in medicine.
Yes.
And he had a shift to this alternative side, which I see nowadays. This tends to be not a trend, I would say. I see a number of doctors doing that from the hardcore. They're moving to the alternative. And you've seen him as a medical doctor, and you're doing this alternative. I can't even call it a therapy. Maybe a module. I don't know what to call it, but it's alternative to mainstream. What exactly it is for our listeners, for our viewers?
Okay. So we are working on self-transformation techniques. And a simple way, nobody can heal you. You can heal yourself.
Okay.
In whatever aspect, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, you have all the answers within. Now, how his journey started was due to my mother when, I think in 1986, I believe, she developed rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. And at that time, and I think even now, there is no remedy or cure for it as such in medicine, and all what they would prescribe was anti-cancer drugs at that time. Now, my dad being a doctor, mom being a doctor, they know the side effects, and he didn't want to do that, and being at a reproductive age as well, they didn't want to get onto those medications. And of course then people started telling him that why don't you look at alternative methods. And he thought of these things. He didn't really believe in it. He was like, I don't know. But then after that he did. He's like, and then he also realized, he's like, if I don't want to give my own wife medicines, and I know the side effects of these, and almost all medications have side effects and everything, why should I be recommending this to my other patients?
Interesting.
All respect towards medical science, like it has its role and place, and it can save people, even
absolutely true.
Absolutely true. And so we developed, it's basically, and whenever we do anything, we call it a complementary system. So if anybody is on medicines, please continue to do the same. This is a complementary system where you are working on yourself from within.
I like that. Instead of alternative, it's complementary. That's interesting way to see
it's
it.
complementary. And so we basically do 2 different types of trainings. One is a self-transformation series of workshops where we guide you on how to touch the deeper inside levels of your heart in order to get different types of answers, whether it's decision making, working for your body if you have a physical ailment, and if you are emotionally, imbalanced, so on and so forth, how to balance relationships, how to build your focus, your attention, your awareness. So that is the self-transformation series we have. And of course, it goes deeper, to many levels. Then we have a life consultant series where we give the opportunity to people to become a consultant, to do one-on-one sessions with people of what we teach, MEF science. I will speak about that.
Yeah.
And we also give an option for people to become teachers.
Okay.
For the basic courses. And reason being because we are growing in different countries, having teachers across the world makes it easier for us.
Absolutely.
Because we can't be everywhere at the same time. It gives them a career as well if that's their goal, to help people bring about a change in themselves. So that is, and the main one, we call it solution. You know that you've attended it as well, and you've already implementing it. So solution, because it is the solution. It's everybody's seeking a solution at all different stages of their life. So yeah.
Okay. Now, you talk about it's a transformational, complementary technique,
Yes.
process technique, whatever you want to name it, and it's about going deep inside your heart. When you say that to people, that it's about going deep inside your heart, and for the logical, skeptical people, the first thing comes is, what a load of mumbo jumbo is this? How do you cope with that? How do you manage to pass through that when people say that to you? What do you respond back?
Okay. Now, the biggest, the main thing, the way we approach people, number one, we follow a deprogramming method.
Okay.
Why we follow a deprogramming method is because all of us from childhood are programmed in an education system. Do this, don't do this, do this. And even some of my friends, they've said that, we went to school, went to college, now doing a job, but not happy.
Yeah.
It's an existential crisis. So people even my age at this point, so many of them are like, oh, we're not happy with what we're doing. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose? Everybody's seeking a purpose. So our key thing is we don't talk to people about what they can expect. Rather, we give a demo, because honestly, your experience is your truth.
Absolutely.
If you believe me, it's because you trust me and you believe me, but that doesn't mean it is your experience. So our key thing is always giving an experience to someone and see the result for yourself.
Okay.
And then go further.
Okay. So I've been to a couple of your sessions.
Yes.
I myself, I got qualified as being a teacher in the solution. I've been doing some of the other workshops as well. I've also seen during your sessions certain professions which are very logical in the way they think, and I see them being very skeptical during those sessions. How many of those people actually come back to you afterwards? Because some of them I know have come back, and because I'm in contact with them. But what about the others? Because I'm sure there's a lot of them. Because you're not just doing things over here; you do it on a global basis. America, South America, Europe. You got the Far East. So and I'm bound you find a lot of skeptical people around this.
Yes.
So of the people who are skeptic, how many do actually return back to you?
See, I can't give a number, to be honest. Like I was in Mongolia as well. And when I had a TV interview there, they asked me this very similar question, different way. What do you think the consciousness of Mongolia is as a country?
Okay.
And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how am I supposed to speak about a whole country, But as far as my experience, they're really open-minded, and that really helps. And they themselves are already very, they're open-minded and let's say working at a spiritual level. And that's why, for example, the crowd in Mongolia is massive.
I've seen the pictures, seen the videos.
Yeah. So, and then when you come to, let's say, South America, we were working with very young people, all my age, and that's very different compared to Mongolia being much older age. So again, like I'm saying, age doesn't matter, but I think it's the people and how they are open-minded. It's the culture which matters a lot as well. And even if people don't come back, we don't hold it as a grudge. What's there to hold? They came to us, we helped them. If everybody has their time, and there's a time when everyone for their journey to take place and whatever changes that need to happen to them. So that's one thing I've learned from my father. Like, don't have expectations. Just do what you do from your heart, and just take it from there. So I've seen that people who are very open-minded, they are willing to listen.
Okay. Now, when you... okay, let me rephrase that. How do you actually go about selling your services?
Okay.
How do you go about doing that?
Okay, number one, we don't push market. That's not our system as well.
Okay.
Word of mouth has worked the best for us. Every market we have entered into has been a different story all the time. So for Mongolia, for example, my dad was contacted by Betty, who is the main representative in Mongolia, and she knew him from before, and she had heard his workshops from where he worked previously before we started our own company. That's how he was approached for that. Then for example, for Brazil, Luisa, we had gone for a talk over here at a yoga center, and she saw us there, and she wanted to bring her mother to us for a session. And as she started seeing the session and the results for her mom, she decided that she wants to start learning, and that's when she took the course, I think, along with a couple of people in Dubai, and she became a teacher, came to Mongolia, saw how it's set up there, and then she decided to set it up in Brazil. So she found that. Then for Argentina, that was a funny story actually. My dad saw a post on Facebook.
Okay.
And it was in Spanish. Spanish, right? That's what they speak. Yeah, they speak Spanish, sorry. Yeah.
Argentinian or...
Yeah, Spanish. Okay, and my dad saw a post, it was in Spanish, but he didn't understand anything. But he resonated with it, so he just wrote a comment, and they called him, they replied to him, started messaging each other, one another, Skype calls, and then before you know it, there was a call over there. So, it's like our science, which I said, MEF science. MEF means manifest, enrich, and fulfill. So, following that method and that technology I'm saying, terminology. Sorry. But anyway, so everybody from childhood is manifesting, enriching, and fulfilling.
Okay.
For example, lady gets pregnant, that is a manifestation. 9 months is the enrichment stage, and then you feel fulfilled when the baby is born. Similarly, then a child is born, then when they start crawling, or when they take their first step, they're like looking around and looking happy, like, are you seeing what I'm doing? So everybody is in that stage of life, whether it's career, whether it's having a baby, whether it's building a house, everybody is doing that constantly. But how to manifest without having a doubt, that is key. How to come to that thoughtless stage, how to come to a doubtless stage, because everybody is in their mind all the time, confused. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I not do this? Should I approach this person? Should I not approach this person? People are confused all the time, and 80% of our resources are used up because of thinking.
Okay.
So the key is how to come out from here and go into your heart. And that's what we're teaching people. We're teaching them how to come into their heart in order to make that decision, in order to come to that thoughtless state, doubtless state. Because if you think about it, stress is causing most of the other problems.
Yeah.
And stress comes from the word stretch. If you think of a rubber band,
Stretching.
it's stretching. How comfortable is it? It's not comfortable. You're comfortable when you're in balance, integrated, so that is what our aim is. That you shouldn't have a doubt and everything comes to you if you manifest it once, not repeating. Manifest it once without a doubt. It comes to you.
Now, you talk about doubt, which is very interesting, and this is what I've also seen during the programs. What if you keep on getting the doubts? How do you... And there are a lot of people who keep on getting the doubts, and because of that doubt state, that decision or that commitment is so difficult to do. How does one get out of that doubt state?
Now, my story, for instance. There were times where I taught the solution workshop. And after I've completed, and then somebody's like, oh, so now we've completed. So when your dad returns from his travel, he will also teach me the workshop, right? And I won't have to pay again. And then for me, I'm just like, what is that supposed to mean? And that happened a lot, Rohit. That happened a lot for me. And of course, there was a time where even I doubted myself. Am I not good enough? And like my dad said, that I was in his shadow. And even though there were so many teachers, people respected them. But when it came to me, because I'm the daughter, they would always want him and not me. So, of course, I would also feel like heartbroken and all of that. But then I still knew that goal, that point, what I wanted. I wanted to be able to help people and continue to help people. And all these things came, even in Brazil in the beginning. I had a tough time because all of them, again, some of them were skeptical in the beginning stages, right? And I don't blame them. That's how people are. That's how people have been trained. They're always analytical. And they used to, my dad had to, like, if I was teaching, he had to be around over there, and then they wouldn't say anything. Then it came to a stage where he would come in the beginning for 5 minutes and then at the end for 5 minutes. So it's been a journey, and now that respect has started coming in for me as well. Now, for example, last year, I decided to take a whole different step altogether. I decided to go to Zurich for an exhibition, and on my own. And even my dad is like, oh, beta, exhibition mein, nothing happens at an exhibition and all. It's a waste of time. Don't go there. I'm like, I'm doing this on my own. And I just decided that I need to take this step alone on my own without anybody telling me what to do, what not to do. And then he agreed. I'm like, see, you need to let me do this because that's the only way I'm going to grow. And then one main thing I learned, Rohit, is my story. Everybody has their story, and that's the most important thing.
Yes.
And I wanted to it became my goal that no matter how I teach, I need to give my story to them so that they resonate with me. And I because I wanted to break that block people have.
Yeah.
That, age, she's so young, what does she know?
She's that young, what experience does she have?
Yeah.
She's the doctor's daughter.
But people don't realize that when I was born, my dad was very much already into this second part of his life, let's say, from doctor into alternative. So I have been seeing it since then. And I've been telling this story,
You've been born into it.
I'm born into it, and I have seen him grow and bloom into such a wonderful person. So, and what he's doing for the world. So I wanted people to realize that age is just a number. At the end of the day, you need to know what is that end point and take action. Whatever it is, okay, those doubts came, whatever, that's a learning. I was rejected, and that is why those doubts came in, right?
Yes.
But then I was like, okay, forget it. I cried, frustration removed, whatever. But just, take an action, take that step.
Okay.
Believe in yourself. Trust yourself.
Okay.
Because everybody has that power within them. For example, even in my story, like I tell people, when I was in first grade and my class teacher had some pain in her neck or shoulders or whatever it was, and and that time my dad used to do Reiki.
Yeah.
Okay, so I only used to see them doing like this, hands like that. So I told my teacher, I'm like, I can help you, and I just went, stood behind her. I was just standing like this. I don't know what I'm doing,
But you believed.
but
You knew.
I knew. I was like, if it's helping other people, I used to see my parents doing sessions for people and classes and everything. So I just did that, and it brought a smile to her face, no matter what. Like, I don't even know if it helped her at that time. I don't even remember.
But she smiled.
But she smiled, and she's like, "Oh, you're so sweet, plum pudding." That's what she used to call me, And she said that, "You're so sweet." And, I just know I want to help people. I like to see people happy.
Okay.
So I knew that, and even now when I went to Mongolia, the way people were coming to me and saying, "Give me blessings," and I'm like, "I know." How to, but people have this, feeling from within that if they meet someone, it's going to help them. No matter, actually, do we do anything when, even older, do they do anything giving blessings? It's okay, it's a culture thing, okay, somebody older. But see how they're coming to a younger person as well.
Yeah.
So I just do something from my heart for them. I just do a self-initiation with their own name for them. And that itself helps them let go. I saw so many people just start crying on the spot when I did a self-initiation for them with their own name. And after they let go, they come and they give you a hug and they're smiling and they say thank you. That even that small thing, that feeling of fulfillment you get is amazing. So just let go. Really. That is the biggest thing I can tell you.
Okay.
Let go, write that step down and take that risk. Go, dive in.
Okay. So you say to get rid of that doubt,
Yeah.
to get to that decision, to that commitment, you have to let go.
Yes.
How does one let go?
How does one let go?
Yes.
Okay. Simple technique. Hold it in your hands, whatever you have. Whatever doubts, whatever question, whatever it is.
Hold them in your hands.
Hold it in your hand. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And when you blow out of your mouth as like a straw, open your hands. Again. And one more time. What do you feel?
Silence.
Silence. You have to come to that silent state, that thoughtless state. Is there any thoughts in your head?
No, just...
And when you
It's
are...
peaceful.
It's peaceful. And when you are in this state, write down your goal.
Okay.
Write down your goal.
Because that's when clarity is there.
Yeah, you have to be thoughtless. That is number one, letting go, whether it's a fear, whatever it is. What is a breath? Taking a breath is energy.
Yes.
Or
You're
like people,
oxygenating the whole body, the brain.
people call
everything.
it prana also.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, it's energy. It's how you're surviving. It's one of the main key elements to survive. So if that, so that's just, and the way oxygen goes in, if you think about it, in solution we talk about the tip of the nose.
Yeah.
When air is going inside, it's working in a
Vortex.
Yes, it's going in like that, and when it pumps out, it's like how you squeeze an orange and then all the juice comes out. So that is the energy which is coming. That is what is manifesting
Okay.
for your full body. So similarly, do that and let go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke about the decision, the let go. When people are in this point of, and it's not because, I've seen elder people, mature people come to you, and also the younger generation coming to you. And when they come to you, and they very likely, it's people come to a complementary session or alternative session like
Yes.
this compared to the normal mainstream medicine is because they are going through some kind of failure or some kind of they feel there's some kind of disaster happening
Right.
in their
Lives.
What do you say to them, or what do you ask them to do or recommend that allows them to making them stop feeling like a failure or feeling like things are a disaster? What is the process? What is the principle?
The first thing is listen to them.
Okay.
Listen to them from your heart. Let them speak, because so many people feel like they're not being heard.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. Even you go to doctors now, there's some doctors are so busy, they're in a rush and they don't even look at you, and they just, they just hear this, they sign it, or they give a diagnosis.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I went to, a couple of years ago, I
Yeah.
went to the doctor, wonderful doctor, a young doctor,
Yeah.
and I was going through, he did not realize that I was going through stress, but I was having some physical issues. And he looked at me and he said to me, "You're stressed." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Could you stop being stressed? Do something, whatever you need to do." And I said to him, "Do I need?" Because I was going through some headaches at that time. And he said to me, and I said to him, "Do I need to go to a specialist?" He said, "Rohit, you're old enough. You are a stressed individual. You need to release the stress. That is all I can say to you. A specialization is not required." And this is what I'm saying to you as a person who's worked in the profession. This is a medical doctor listening to me. He first listened to me, which was really nice,
Yes.
made a change. And he simply said, "You are stressed." After he listened to me, he realized I was stressed. And he said, and I'm not into medicines, he said, "You won't get any medicines," which I was glad he didn't do that. He said, "I need you to find a way which is going to work for you."
Yes.
I may say to you, go and breathe, go and enjoy the environment outside there, the nature, but you need to find something which resonates with you, which
Exactly.
releases your stress.
Exactly.
So that was and I was very surprised that there's a doctor listening to me.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing you brought up. Listen. Okay, next.
That is number one. Listening is key. What was the question?
So it was, what do you do? How do
Sorry.
you? What are the principles? What do you tell to a person who says, who comes to you, who feels like they're a failure? They feel their life is at distress. It's completely gone.
Okay. So, now every situation is different. Some people can come with a physical problem like cancer. Some can come with a relationship issue, whatever it is. Number one, listen to them and let them speak whatever it is. And as a consultant, we'll just write down whatever we need to, whatever they are stressed about. Now, when we write down, for example, if somebody is talking about their cancer, or if somebody has come with a cancer, they might be even worried about their family first. They might not even mention cancer first. So that means they are emotionally more distressed compared to their physical. Like, that is affecting them much more compared to their physical ailment. So whatever it is, and then we have a system of scanning to see. There are two different types of scanning. One is just to see what their potential is, what potential they're working at. Now, why we're checking potential? If you think about it, we get a cut.
Okay.
Starts healing on its own, it clots on its own. Fracture, bone breaks. What does the doctor do? Put it back, put plaster. But it heals on its own. Right? So, our body has the potential to heal everything on its own. Okay, and number one, after they talk, we check their potential, or if it is a really major problem, then we do a scan where we can see where the imbalances are in the body, and we don't give a diagnosis to anything. If they say lung cancer, it is the lung that is affected. Can the cancer be reversed? Yes, it can be reversed. Anything can be reversed. If you take a wrong direction on a road, you can always come back and go the other way. So we have that potential. So when I'm saying that you are working at a 50% potential, that means you still have 50% more. You have that ability to increase. So that itself, people are like, okay, that gives them that thinking, you're not giving me a diagnosis and I can improve myself. And when they've already spoken out whatever they wanted to, they have already started to let go.
Okay.
And they are already feeling lighter, let's say feeling lighter, right? So that happens. And then, as I said before, we give them, now based on their situation, we will give them maybe, teach them an exercise to do, a self-transformation exercise which we teach. Or we suggest a product to them. We have several different products as well which can help them. But our initial goal is to teach them to do something on their own. We don't want to make them dependent. We want to make them independent. Because everybody has that potential. Or we do a complete session where we work on them with different tools and products and sounds, so that we'll see how it impacts them. Now, for example, it comes to, let's say, a physical ailment, okay? We do a session for them, then we can do the scanning to see, is the body responding? Has it changed? Has the potential changed? Has it increased? That itself, so that experience counts as the most, because that is their truth, that they are responding to it, they are feeling it. And we do a strength test to see that, okay, this was what I was, this is how I've become. So people need to trust, and trust comes from the result. So when they feel their failure, they need to trust themselves. Is it wrong being a failure? No. Have I failed? Yeah, okay, I failed. But that's what makes you. And the fact that the person has come to you to figure it out means they're not quitting. There's a big difference between failing and quitting. When you're quitting, you've given up and you're not going to do anything about it. The fact that the person has come for a solution when they think they're a failure, that itself means they want to correct whatever has gone wrong. So they need to understand that. We need to speak to them based on their situation, that they need to understand that.
Yeah, and especially when you're talking about medical, it's complementing the regular treatment which is going on. Okay.
And whenever their medical doctor tells them that, oh, you're improving a lot and reduce these sessions, then let them reduce. We are not doctors here. I know my dad is a doctor medically, but I'm not, and so many of our teachers are not doctors. That is why our aim is not to know what are the different body parts, what are the different organs. You have problem in your stomach area, I might not know where the appendix is, I don't know unless I look at it. You have something there, fine, that's all I need to know.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the people which I introduced to Doc Uncle was a doctor, because she came to me initially, and I could see that she was very skeptical about things, although she could understand what was going on. So I thought it was best to introduce her to the doctor, which worked out very well for her. So which is great. You find the right people to send the people to.
Yes.
Especially if they're skeptical, highly skeptical, and they need someone who they feel is a doctor, and they need to talk to a doctor.
Doctors are skeptical, and my dad enjoys talking to doctors. It gives him another level of fun, because he's like, oh, this is fun, because they're going to ask all these different questions, and he'll have answers. And it's a fun conversation.
How do you deal with it when a doctor comes up to you? How do you deal with one of those people?
Go talk to my father.
It
depends, right? It depends. Some people are open to listening to me, then it's fine. If they want, and I respect their choice. Like if they want to speak with him, and I'm like, okay, I'll see if I can schedule a session with him. Everybody wants to go to some person. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
why
okay.
not?
Now, in your time you've been doing this, you've been doing it for a while, and it's obviously helping people, but it's also a business.
Yes.
Okay. A number of people feel when people are doing things like life coaching or doing what you're doing, transformational, alternative, they feel, or they have this thing about them, think that because you're doing this, it should be given for free. What is your take on that?
Rohit, people come, they take it, like even if they do like an introductory free solution class and they take it for free, whatever it is, that's free. But will people value it? People only value things when they pay for it. At the end of the day. Why should see, money is also a form of energy. Money is something needed for sustenance. So there's nothing wrong with money. Earning money is not wrong. And that's the point. And everybody needs to build a career. This is how today's world is. You cannot survive without money. So, of course, if you're doing something else full time and then you want to do it as a voluntary service for people, okay, go ahead. There are times, for example, Louisa went to, she's the head of Brazil, by the way, and she went to Africa to this orphanage. Now, of course, for there we can give it for free. I mean, of course, they value it so much more. They're so happy. There's a time, place, situation for everything.
Yes.
So, and if somebody really comes to you for help, like we've had these situations, and they really don't have any money, they're financially, they don't have it. And that has happened to my dad as well, that, people really, really, really want to learn. And they've learned, and my dad has said, yeah, okay, fine. And the next time he's gone, all the money, they've collected the money and given it to him.
So it just comes back somehow the other.
It comes back. And the same people, they're like, now we're fine, we're happy. And they had that intention to pay him, but they didn't. And sometimes he's done it. Even I've done it. I've done it for some of my friends as well. Like sometimes I feel like, for my friends, like who maybe if they're financially unstable or they're not doing well. And out of my wish, I tell them, can I please, assist you if you want to, if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question which I completely forgot what I was going to ask. I was so deep into listening to what you were saying. In what you're doing, would you call this spirituality?
You're asking me that question. I know what question you're asking me. Okay, so what is spirituality?
I'm asking you.
No, but what do you think it is?
No, I see. It's not about me. It's about you. So, what is this spirituality? What is your definition of spirituality?
Okay, my definition for spirituality. All of us have a spirit.
Yeah.
Right, and it's connected to the all-knowing, or however you may call it.
Yeah.
So
some people might think that's also mumbo jumbo, by the way.
That's fine, but they know that they have a soul and spirit. If they don't know that they have a soul and spirit, then okay,
that's fine.
That's fine as well. They will. Like I said, everybody has their time.
Yeah.
And they will come to realize whenever it's their time. Okay, and every action is an action of the spirit.
Okay.
Because it's within you and you are connected to the universe in a way. So that is what spirituality is. Everything is spirituality. The whole problem is people link spirituality and religion together.
Yeah.
And that is not what we're talking about. Religion is what? Religion, as per me, is a set of rules and principles which were made by man, by the way, right? It's man-made. And these are righteous principles given to us to follow life in a right manner. Now the whole thing is, like I said, people are programmed. And they are told to do this. Now religion also has become a sort of a program, do this. Okay, but at the end of the day, if man has made religion and you feel that maybe I shouldn't do this, but your heart is telling you something else to do, so why not? Why not take that step? Why not listen to your heart? Because at the end of the day, we are connected to the all-knowing. And, this gave us a path to follow. And it doesn't stop us from doing anything. If we feel something is, that goes out of the way, why not? Be open. And trust yourself. They all are, everything is interconnected. The key thing is, everything is interconnected.
Okay.
There is no disconnection between anything in this world. Everybody is connected. You are the same, I am the same. There is no difference between one another. So I'm not saying that we are focusing on religion. We are not promoting a religion. Spirituality is different. It's the act of the spirit. We are trying to teach you how to talk to yourself, your own body, to self-instruct.
Okay. Now,
yourself.
What happens is, okay, so it's self-instruct. It's not a religion. In spirituality, people follow a certain form of spirituality, and that becomes very rigid.
Okay.
Is this what this is doing?
No, we don't call it. See, we don't call it spiritual as well.
Okay.
It's up to you. It's up to you what you want to call it. Can we link it to religion? Yes, we can link it to religion if you want. Can you link it to spirituality? We can link it to spirituality. Mental health. It is open. It's an open thing.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because I've had some people who've come up to me where I'm not a gym freak, not a health freak either, but I've had some people who've come up to me saying, look, I need to perform better in my gym, especially the ones who love lifting their weights. And I usually get them to do the basic solution exercise,
right,
and they see a difference when they go into it. So it's a multitude of things.
Yeah.
I can call it orange or apple for all I want to.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, as we're coming to the close of this talk, tell me what you truly are grateful about in your life.
I'm truly grateful for being in this world, to be able to help people, and truly grateful for the parents I have and my full family. They have really supported me or made me grow, and I'm also very, very grateful for all the people who rejected me, who made comparisons, and who also stood by my side. I'm grateful for everything, to be very honest, because if all these things didn't happen, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Okay. Another question which comes to mind is for the young ones specifically, for those who are entering into the work stream of life.
Yeah.
What is that one thing you would suggest to them when they go into this big, wide world?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would say to them to do what makes you happy and what's your passion.
Okay.
Because I feel if you're happy and in complete satisfaction and that fulfillment, then nothing can stop you.
Okay.
Because people always think that they have responsibility and they should do this and they should do that. But if they're not happy doing what they're doing to fulfill their responsibility, then it makes no sense to me. So whatever that makes you happy, follow your heart. And
okay. And to close the session, what is the next thing which you're going to do for your work, for your life? What is that you're looking forward to do?
What is the next thing I'm going to do? Well, I have nothing planned.
Okay.
I'm being
Which is
honest.
fine.
I'm right now in the moment. We're working on many different things. We're working on everything going online, catering to the whole world, having online workshops. And in January this year, we started something called the Happiness Movement to reach out to the masses as well. So there are a lot of things going on, and many different retreats we're working on to see how people can come and learn more, whatever it is, and just taking it day by day.
Okay.
Really, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Truly appreciate it. Your father's going to be on this as well. So let's see what his take is going to be. And there's going to be another talk where you and your father are going to be together. That will be the most interesting one.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Rohit.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.